What's going on, Birdland? Bopst here, and unfortunately, for the fourth day in a row, I get to start my morning by waking up and telling you that the Baltimore Orioles lost. This time to the Minnesota Twins in Game 2, 1-0. What went wrong? We'll get into it right after this. Let's go, O's! What's going on, Birdland? Like I said, Bopst here. Baltimore lost 1-0 in Game 2 against the Minnesota Twins. But before we get into the baseball game, I just want to encourage you once again to like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you can find the notification bell, hit that notification bell, because it's going to allow you to understand every time that I make a video or go live. Plan on watching some live baseball games or something like that with you guys here soon. So, make sure you like, share, subscribe for me. Hey, be more, we got to stick together, right? Win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter. Go O's. So, Baltimore loses to Minnesota 1-0 in Game 2. And what were we clamoring for? We were clamoring for some good starting pitching, especially after the last two outings. But that's what we got. Kyle Bradish, even though he worked through a ton of traffic during the innings that he pitched, he was able to get out unscathed, except for a lone mistake to Joey Gallo in the top of the fourth, a one-run shot. And you know what? 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. He did give up 7 hits and 1 earned run. 1 run, 1 earned run. So what did Kyle Bradish do? He gave the Baltimore Orioles an excellent opportunity to win a baseball game. But what he didn't take into consideration is that all of the Orioles on the roster would forget their bats at home. We'll go over the box score and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Minnesota's box score, 1 run, thankfully to Kyle Bradish, and a good defense. We'll put it that, we'll give him that. 7 hits, 0 earned runs. Baltimore's line, 0 runs, 3 hits, no errors. So what Minnesota did today, 1 run, 7 hits, 0 errors. In Baltimore's 2 games, in their 2 games against Minnesota, their line is 1 run, 7 hits, and 0 errors. So Minnesota did in 1 game what the Orioles have done in 2 games. And as you can imagine, that is a recipe for disaster, and the Birds are 0-2 against the Minnesota Twins. It's not going to stink and cut it. So, we'll go over the Orioles hitting. Said is back in that top spot. He is yet to recuperate from his time on the IR. Said went 0 for 4. Adley Rutschman went 1 for 4. Jorge Mateo replaced him in the 9th. We'll talk about that later. Anthony Santander went 1 for 4. Ryan O'Hearn 0 for 3. It's kind of time for him to start getting his stuff together again too. Austin Hayes went 0 for 3. Gunnar Henderson went 1 for 3. Hicks went 0 for 3. Westberg 0 for 3. Come on, Jordan. And Frazier 0 for 3. As a team, the Baltimore Orioles went 3-for-30. That's batting 100. Not going to win you very many baseball games. Left on base, O'Hearn left some on. O'Hearn was 0-1, and Santander was 0-1. And Santander's was a pretty unfortunate incident, but we'll talk about that later. So like I said, Kyle Bradish went 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 Ks. He did give up that Joey Gallo home run, but I mean, all in all, the guy pitched well. It's amazing that he gets a loss for that because he gave the Orioles an opportunity to win a baseball game. He gave them a good quality outing. Thank you, Kyle Bradish, for coming through in the clutch. Baumann won an inning, 1 walk, 2 Ks, no earned runs. Danny Coulombe continued to pitch well. 1 inning, 1 K, no earned runs. And Yennier Cano kind of looked more like the dominant self that he did at the beginning of the year. 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 2 Ks. So the pitching staff looked good. They did everything in their power to give Baltimore an opportunity to win this baseball game, and they just decided not to bring their bats for the second game in a row. And I'm really hoping that this is just one of those things where, hey, teams go through cold spells. 162 games a year, you're gonna go through a couple of valleys, if you will. And I guess it's better to do it now than it is to do it at the latter part of the season. However, the type of baseball that we've seen in the last week has not been very indicative at all of the Baltimore Orioles that we saw for, I would say, the first third of the season. June has been a little bit rougher of a month compared to that hot April and May. And I'm hoping that, July 1st comes around and you kind of hope for a good July. Well, you start off 0-1 because the bats don't want to come through. Now, all that to say this, once again, like I said, the Baltimore Orioles are 0-2 against the Minnesota Twins in this series. One good thing was it's obviously a Saturday game, and it almost looked like an orange out at Camden Yards. The announced attendance was 40,012 people, and Camden Yards is already beautiful, especially with the city in the backdrop. But when that thing is filled with orange, it is a spectacle. It's the most beautiful baseball park in all of baseball. So that was good to see. It was good to see the Baltimore faithful come out strong for their team. So Baltimore loses their fourth in a row, drops them to 48-33. Fortunately, Tampa Bay also lost last night to the Mariners, so the Baltimore Orioles remain 6.5 games behind Tampa Bay for first place. And the New York Yankees are only 3 games behind Baltimore. So the Birds need to kind of pick it up. And that's exactly after today, 12:05 first pitch against Minnesota, where they attempt to be one of the only teams in baseball that have not been swept in a series. And I don't think the Birds have been swept since Adley Rutschman came up last year. So this is a pretty big game. And Adley didn't play in game 1 behind the plate, so he'll be playing today. I'm sure that's going to be on his mind. Should be on everybody's mind, You got a good baseball team, you should not be swept at home. So the Baltimore Orioles are going to have their work cut out for them. Like I said, 12:05 first pitch. The Minnesota Twins will be sending out Sonny Gray. And just like I talked about in my preview video, how I felt real strongly about the Minnesota Twins not being able to compete against the O's just based on the pitching matchup, and how Game 2 was going to be a little bit more difficult, which it proved to be. Well, you got Sonny Gray, and the Baltimore Orioles are sending out Cole Irvin in order to keep from being swept at home. So you say, Bopst, what is your confidence level in this game? Man, with the way that the Orioles bats have been, and the way that Cole Irvin has been pitching, we're taking the totality of everything, I give him a 10% chance at winning. I mean, I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. As much as I hate to say that it's a huge chance that the Baltimore Orioles get swept by the Minnesota Twins in Camden Yards, Cole Irvin's on the mound. And the Baltimore bats have been ice cold. That is not a good recipe for success. We'll see. Cole, please prove me wrong, Cole. Please, Cole Irvin, prove me wrong. Because right after this, you got a 4-game set at New York. And then the same team that's already won this series, now you have to go to Minneapolis before the All-Star break. The same team that's been kicking your butt, now you got to go to their house. I'm just saying, we need to tighten some things up and get some things squared away. So hopefully Cole Irvin can put a pie in my face. I will gladly accept that to avoid the sweep. So like I said, 12:05 first pitch. The game will be aired on Peacock, and we'll see if the Orioles can prevent from being swept for the first time this year. They got their work cut out for them, and Cole's going to have one heck of a stinking start. This is another opportunity for him to prove that he deserves the 5th spot in the rotation. Remember, his last start, he started off, he got touched up a little bit, it kind of started looking all right in the second and third inning, and then the rain delay came, which is why they had to take him out of the ball game. Which, ironically enough, Cole Irvin was the last starter that the Baltimore Orioles won in. They won the game. So maybe Cole's good luck. I don't know. We'll see. This is his opportunity to prove it and prove that he deserves that fifth spot on the rotation. But before I get out of here, once again, I just want to say like, share, subscribe, comment. Hey, let me know what you think the trajectory of the Baltimore Orioles is. Let me know what you think about the AL East. You know, do they have a legitimate shot of catching Tampa Bay? Is this just Baltimore going through a cold spell that every team in baseball will eventually do? Or is this something more sinister, if you will, where Baltimore is coming back down to earth? I'm genuinely interested in your opinion, and I look forward to interacting with you guys in the comment section. But, hey, Birdland, win, lose, or draw, we're going to stay together. What's on the stadium right now? You can't clip these wings. So, hey, like, share, subscribe, comment, and go Birds.